The Galactic Council spoke with calm voices, their faces shining in golden light. From the grand hall at the center of the Andromeda Union, they announced to every world, peace has been achieved. Their words echoed through thousands of star systems. Billions of beings listened and believed. The galaxy finally thought war was over. But on a small blue world at the edge of the galaxy, Earth watched in silence. Humans did not believe the Council. Something in their message felt false. Their smiles looked rehearsed. Their tones sounded like victory over someone, not peace with everyone. In the deep underground levels of the United Earth Command, Captain Elias Ward sat in a dark room. The light from the large screen flickered across his tired face. On it, he saw the official galactic broadcast again and again. Each replay made his stomach twist tighter. The Council's representative had said, "Humanity has agreed to our terms. The age of aggression is over." But Earth had agreed to nothing. Ward leaned forward, his voice cold. "We never sent any agreement. They forged it." The communications officer nodded slowly. "Yes, sir. The original message we sent last month asking for assistance, it never reached the Council. Someone intercepted it." Ward's jaw tightened. For years, humanity had struggled to gain respect from the older races. Humans were younger, smaller, and newer to the stars. The Council always saw them as reckless explorers, too emotional, too ambitious. Now, this announcement of peace felt like a trap. Outside the base, the night sky glowed faintly red with the light of orbiting defense satellites. The world below slept in peace, not knowing that its enemies were already planning the next move. Within a week, the first colony vanished. Outpost Vega 9, home to 50,000 miners, went silent. No distress call. No escape pods. Only static. The Council claimed the humans had violated safety protocols. They said it was a reactor failure. But Ward had read enough reports to know the signs. It was not an accident, he said to his officers. It was an attack. More colonies went dark after that. One by one, a freighter carrying supplies to Mars disappeared. A science vessel near Titan never returned. Every loss came with the same empty words from the Council. "We are investigating." Soon the media began calling it the age of cosmic accidents. But people who served in the military knew the truth. They whispered in quiet halls, passing secret data drives from one base to another. The words Council betrayal started to spread. Captain Ward walked through the cold corridors of Command Base, his boots echoing softly. He stopped at the memorial wall where the names of fallen crews were carved in silver. His eyes scanned the long list until he reached the last name, Lieutenant Kara Ward, his sister. She had served on Vega 9. That was the night something in him changed. He went back to the command center and called a private meeting with his most trusted officers. Around the long metal table sat 10 men and women, pilots, strategists, scientists, and engineers. They all looked at him, waiting. Ward turned off the main lights. The room glowed only with the blue light from the holographic map of the galaxy. He pointed at the shining dots, Earth, Mars, Vega 9, and the Council core worlds. "The Council lied," he said. "They used our call for help as proof of rebellion. They want to destroy us before we grow strong." No one spoke for a long moment. Then Commander Holt, his second-in-command, whispered, "What do we do now?" Ward stared at the map. "We do what humans have always done when cornered. We adapt. We fight." At that moment, the communication system blinked. A single encrypted message had arrived. The signal source was unknown. When Ward opened it, there were only 2 words glowing on the screen. They lied. Everyone in the room fell silent. The voice in the transmission was mechanical, masked. But the data attached showed something shocking. Images of Council ships near Vega 9 firing first. Evidence of sabotage. Proof that the Council had destroyed the colonies themselves and blamed humanity. Ward looked up at his officers. "Now we have proof, but proof means nothing unless we are ready to act." He turned to the scientist, Dr. Vance. "How long before Project Dawnfire is ready?" Dr. Vance hesitated. "Still months away, Captain. We lack funding and raw materials." Ward gave a slow nod. "Then we will take what we need, quietly. No one outside this room can know." And so began Earth's secret preparation. Factories hidden beneath the oceans started to produce new ships. Engineers worked night and day on stealth hulls that could bend radar. Pilots were trained in deep black operations. They called it Operation Silence. The public heard nothing. The news continued to praise the Council. Politicians smiled on camera, shaking hands with alien ambassadors. But behind closed doors, human fleets multiplied. The solar defense network expanded. Satellites armed with railguns and plasma shields took orbit under the cover of meteor protection projects. Captain Ward walked through one of the new hangars under the Atlantic base. Massive ships stood in rows, unfinished, silent, waiting. Workers whispered around him. Some were afraid. Some were eager. All of them knew the truth but could not speak it aloud. Ward stopped beside one of the massive hulls. Its name was engraved on the side, Solar Lance, the first ship of its kind, the flagship of humanity's vengeance. He placed a hand on the cold metal and whispered, "They think we will stay quiet. They think fear will break us. But they forget who we are." Far above, in the blackness of space, the Galactic Council celebrated their false victory. They believed humanity was broken. They believed the lie had worked. But deep beneath the waves, the first heartbeat of rebellion echoed, and as the dawn rose over the Atlantic, the reflection of the sun glinted on the ship's steel hull, like a blade waiting for the day it would be drawn. The deception had begun. But so had the preparation for revenge. The galaxy believed the lie. The Galactic Council's message spread across every network. Earth is unstable. Humanity attacked its own colonies. The Council intervened to maintain peace. World after world accepted the story. The Council's voice was strong, their reach endless. No one dared to question them. But in the dark edges of space, a shadow began to grow. Humanity was silent on the surface. But beneath that silence, something powerful was awakening. Captain Elias Ward walked through the command deck of the underground base. The room glowed dimly blue from the holographic displays showing orbit paths and fleet movements. He looked at the symbols representing Council ships scattered through human space. Too close. Too many, Commander Holt approached. Council surveillance drones were seen near Jupiter. They are mapping our outer defenses. Ward did not look surprised. Let them. The more they watch, the less they see. He turned toward the massive viewport where Earth's curved horizon shimmered beyond the protective barrier. They think we are asleep. But soon, they will see how humans wake. Deep inside the Atlantic Command Complex, Project Dawnfire continued. It was the most secret operation in human history, an advanced weapon built from stolen Council technology, designed not for defense, but for a single strike powerful enough to end a fleet in seconds. Dr. Vance stood near the reactor chamber, watching the engineers weld glowing lines across the massive structure. The energy output is unstable, he warned. If it overloads, the explosion could consume everything in this base. Ward's calm voice echoed beside him. Then it will remind us what we are risking. He placed a hand on the glass, watching the core pulse like a living heart. We are not building a weapon, Doctor. We are building a message. Far above, in orbit around the moon, the Solar Lance awaited completion. The ship was a shadow among stars, no official records, no registered ID, no signal. To the galaxy, it did not exist. Inside its hangars, pilots trained in zero-gravity combat drills. Their suits carried no flags, no symbols. They called themselves Ghost Division. Lieutenant Mara Trent, one of the youngest pilots, floated in silence after another brutal simulation. Her hands trembled slightly. She had just watched her virtual squadron destroyed by simulated Council ships. Ward's voice came through her headset. Fear is normal, Lieutenant. It keeps you alive. But do not let it guide you. We are not fighting for medals. We are fighting to be remembered. She nodded, her voice steady. Yes, sir. We will make them remember Earth. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. Some alien merchants who traded with humans noticed their cargo routes were being redirected. Human ships no longer used common gates. They vanished into private lanes, slipping between sensor grids like ghosts. Others reported that Earth's transmissions had changed frequencies, encrypted, silent, unreadable. The Council grew suspicious. They called for a public inspection of the solar system, but Earth refused. The official message from the United Earth government was short and cold. We are mourning our dead. We have nothing to show you. In the Council chambers, High Chancellor Virek frowned as the hologram of Earth's ambassador faded. Mourning their dead, he repeated. No, they are preparing for something. He turned to his advisors. Tighten surveillance, restrict all trade with human sectors, and if necessary, remind them who rules the stars. The other species agreed in silence. They had always feared humanity's potential. Too passionate, too clever, too dangerous when pushed. But now the galaxy's greatest lie was about to face its consequence. Back on Earth, Captain Ward gathered his senior officers for a meeting in the underground briefing hall. The air felt heavy with tension. On the screen above them glowed the words Operation Veil. Ward began, his tone steady but sharp. The Council believes we are broken. They see our silence as weakness. But silence is our weapon. From this day forward, every move we make will be hidden beneath that silence. He pointed to the holographic map showing Council fleets near Mars and Europa. We will let them see only what we want. Fake transmissions, false distress calls, ghost ships. Let them chase shadows while we prepare the real strike, Dr. Vance added. Project Dawnfire's weapon core is at 72% completion. Once it reaches full charge, it could wipe out an entire battle group. Good, Ward replied. We will not use it to destroy. We will use it to reveal the truth. Commander Holt frowned. How? Ward turned toward him. By showing them what humanity becomes when deceived. The officers exchanged glances. They all knew what that meant. In the weeks that followed, strange events began across the galaxy. Council cargo convoys vanished in deep space. Listening stations reported hearing echoes of human transmissions, but when they tried to trace them, there was nothing. Entire fleets spent days chasing phantom signals, wasting resources and spreading confusion. The Council called these incidents space anomalies. But those who knew better called it what it was: human ingenuity. Ward's plan was working. Every illusion created by Operation Veil bought Earth more time. Every false signal drew attention away from the solar system. And every day the human fleet grew stronger. One night Ward stood alone on the deck of the Solar Lance. The ship floated silently in lunar orbit, half complete but alive. The stars reflected across its dark armor like embers in the void. Dr. Vance's voice came through the comms. Captain, the Council is holding a new meeting. They plan to declare Earth a restricted zone. Ward's jaw tightened. They can close their gates. It will not save them. He looked out at the distant stars, his voice low but burning with purpose. They took our colonies. They erased our people. They spread their lies, but when we rise, their truth will die in the light we bring. The hum of engines filled the silence. Deep in the ship's core, the Dawnfire reactor pulsed brighter. It was almost ready. The galaxy still slept under the illusion of peace, unaware that something ancient and unstoppable was about to awaken. The hidden hand was moving, and its name was humanity. The Galactic Council believed the humans had finally been broken. They saw Earth's silence as surrender. They saw the absence of response as fear. They were wrong. High Chancellor Virek stood inside the Grand Council chamber, surrounded by the light of 12 alien worlds. His long fingers tapped the edge of the glass podium as he spoke to the gathered leaders. Humanity must be inspected, he declared. Their secrecy threatens our peace. The decision was made that same day. A massive peace fleet of 50 Council warships was dispatched toward the Sol system. They called it a diplomatic inspection, but their ships carried railguns, missile bays, and soldiers. They came not to speak, but to control. The people of Earth saw the fleet long before it arrived. Hidden telescopes from lunar bases tracked the approaching armada. From the shadows of orbit, Captain Elias Ward watched the readings flash across his command screen. The Council's fleet will reach Earth's orbit in 6 hours, Commander Holt said quietly. Ward stood at the front of the Solar Lance, his hands resting behind his back. Then the time for silence ends, he replied. Below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, inside the secret base, alarms began to hum. Engineers and soldiers rushed through metallic corridors, the hangars filled with the deep rumble of awakening ships. For months, Earth had hidden its strength behind quiet skies. Now the shields lifted. In the control center, Dr. Vance watched the Dawnfire reactor pulse with blinding light. Captain, the weapon core is stable, he reported. 100% charge. Ward's voice came through the comm, calm but sharp. Keep it ready. No one fires until I give the word. When the Council fleet entered the Sol system, the commander of the alien ship sent a message. This is the Galactic Council. Earth is under protective inspection. Power down all systems and prepare for review. The message played across every major human frequency. No answer came. Only silence. Then from behind the dark side of the moon, hundreds of signals flickered alive. The alien commander frowned. What is this? Energy readings? Before anyone could react, the darkness moved. Human ships emerged from nowhere, sleek, black, invisible moments before. They glided like predators through the void. Each one bore no flag, no insignia, only cold armor and focused purpose. Identify yourselves. The alien commander shouted into the comms. The voice that answered was steady, human, and final. This is Captain Elias Ward of the United Earth Defense Force. You declared peace under lies. Now we declare truth under fire. Then the first shot was fired, the void of space erupted in light. Hidden railguns stationed on the moon fired in perfect sequence. The beams of superheated metal tore through the leading council ships, cutting them apart like paper. The alien fleet tried to form ranks, but their systems jammed. Every signal, every radar, every command was scrambled by Earth's interference tech. Jamming signals. We cannot coordinate, one alien officer cried. Ward gave his command without emotion. Initiate solar formation. Target all hostiles. From the shadows, Earth's fleet advanced. The solar lance led the charge, its engines glowing like burning suns. Plasma rounds streaked across the stars, tearing through the Council's flagship. The battle was short, but unforgettable. For every missile the Council fired, 10 were returned. For every ship that advanced, 3 vanished in explosions of light. In just 7 minutes, the sky above Earth was a field of debris. Ward stood in silence, watching the holographic screen. Status? Commander Holt exhaled. Their fleet is gone, sir. News spread faster than the Council could silence it. Across the galaxy, live feeds showed the burning remains of the Peace Fleet. Millions of beings gasped as they saw the impossible. Humans. Outnumbered, outgunned, victorious. The Galactic Council tried to shut down the transmission. But Ward had already anticipated that. A pre-programmed signal began to broadcast from the solar lance, sending recorded footage of Council ships attacking first, proof of their betrayal. The entire galaxy saw the truth. The message was clear. We did not start this war, but we will end it. On the Council's homeworld, chaos erupted. Riots broke out. Civil leaders demanded explanations. High Chancellor Virek watched the footage in disbelief. How did they do this? He muttered. An advisor replied nervously. They were preparing, Chancellor. For years they were preparing. Virek's eyes burned with anger and fear. Then we will crush them. Mobilize the entire galactic fleet. But even as he spoke, more bad news arrived. 3 outposts near the human border had gone dark. A supply convoy had vanished. Every communication relay near Earth was jammed. The galaxy was starting to change. On Earth, Captain Ward stood on the observation deck as debris from the Council fleet drifted across the black sky. Dr. Vance joined him. It is done, he said softly. We have won the first battle. Ward did not smile. This was not victory, Doctor. This was the first breath before the storm. Vance frowned. Do you think they will come again? Ward looked out at the stars, where the faint light of the sun reflected off fragments of metal and flame. They will come, he said quietly. And when they do, they will bring everything they have. But now the galaxy knows their lies. He turned to his crew and spoke words that would later be remembered across centuries. Let every world know this. Humanity does not kneel. We stand. That night, as Earth's skies returned to calm, people across the planet watched strange lights fade above the clouds. No one knew what had happened. No one knew that the greatest battle in human history had just taken place above their heads. But the soldiers who stood guard that night understood. They had seen the power of unity, the wrath of truth, and the strength of a world that refused to be forgotten. In silence, Captain Ward looked at the glowing dawn rising beyond the horizon. The reflection of sunlight danced across the ocean like fire. He whispered to himself, They wanted peace built on lies. We will bring truth built on fire. The war for Earth had begun, and this time the galaxy would learn that humanity's wrath was not chaos. It was justice. The galaxy could no longer hide the truth. Every broadcast, every intercepted message, every desperate council transmission now carried the same image. Burning fleets drifting near the blue light of Earth. The council's lie had shattered. Across 1,000 systems, alien citizens whispered the same question. What did the humans do? The answer came in silence, then in thunder. The United Earth Defense Fleet moved through the stars with precision and fury. Where the Council once stood untouchable, now its ships burned. Every planet that had joined the lie watched in fear and awe as humanity's black-armored vessels entered orbit. They came not as conquerors, but as judges. Captain Elias. Ward stood on the bridge of the Solar Lance, the ship's interior bathed in red warning light. The Dawnfire reactor hummed beneath his feet like a sleeping god. Commander Holt approached. Council fleets collapsing in every sector. Their ships are surrendering or retreating. Ward's eyes remained on the holographic map. Do not chase them, he said. Let them run. Fear is a better teacher than fire. Dr. Vance stepped forward, his tone low. Captain, the galaxy is watching. Some call us liberators. Others call us monsters. Ward's voice was calm. It does not matter what they call us. What matters is that they remember. Far across the stars, on the Council capital world of Varelian Prime, panic had replaced order. The once golden city of towers and domes now glowed red from emergency lights. Ships lifted off from every platform, fleeing into the void. The High Chancellor sat alone in the great chamber, staring at the hologram of Earth's flag. Blue, white, and simple, yet somehow heavier than any army. He had thought humanity would break. He had thought their young world could be crushed before it became a threat. Now the threat stood at his doorstep. A sudden tremor shook the building. The walls rumbled. Outside, the sky turned white with the entry fire of descending ships. Sir, an aide cried, the human fleet has entered orbit. The Chancellor rose slowly, his voice breaking. They would not dare, but they dared. The Solar Lance entered Varelian orbit surrounded by a formation of human cruisers. The Council's defense satellites tried to fire, but their systems shut down, overridden by human code. Ward's fleet had learned from every battle, every deception. The humans had become masters of the game once used against them. A communication request appeared on Ward's screen. It came directly from the Council's chamber. Captain Ward, said the trembling alien voice, we wish to negotiate. Ward stared into the hologram, expressionless. You negotiated when you forged our words. You negotiated when you erased our colonies. Tell me, what did peace mean to you then? The alien looked down, silent. Ward's tone darkened. We are not here for revenge. We are here for truth. He turned to his officers. Broadcast everything, and so across the galaxy. The humans played the recordings, the intercepted orders, the falsified transmissions, the proof that the Galactic Council had planned humanity's fall for years. World after world watched as their leaders' voices confessed crimes they had denied. It was not a battle of weapons now. It was a battle of conscience, and humanity won both. Within hours, the Council's authority collapsed. Member species began withdrawing, demanding trials and resignations. Protests erupted in the streets of alien worlds, banners held high with human symbols drawn in white and blue. On Earth, for the first time in history, the world was united. Cities erupted with light as the message from the Solar Lance reached every screen. The age of lies is over. The truth belongs to all. The cheers that followed shook the planet. Days later, in the ruins of the Council chamber, Captain Ward walked alone through the shattered hall. The air smelled of smoke and metal. The great banners of the old regime lay burned on the floor. In the center of the room stood High Chancellor Virek, unarmed and defeated. You have destroyed everything, Virek said quietly. Your people could have joined us. You could have ruled beside us. Ward stopped before him, his shadow stretching long in the fading light. Humanity does not rule, he said. We lead only when others forget how. Virek lowered his head. And what will you do with us? Ward looked toward the distant stars through the shattered ceiling. Learn from what you built. We will not rebuild your council. We will build something better. He turned to leave, his final words echoing through the chamber. Never again will truth be a weapon. Outside, the Solar Lance rose from the Council's capital, engines lighting up the sky like dawn breaking through endless night. From orbit, the world below looked peaceful again, but that peace had been paid for in silence, sacrifice, and fire. Dr. Vance watched from the viewport beside Ward. We have changed the galaxy, he said softly. Ward nodded. No, he replied, his voice distant. The galaxy changed us. We were forced to remember what it means to be human. Commander Holt joined them, holding a small data crystal. Sir, it's a message from home. Earth is rebuilding. The people want to honor the fallen. Ward took the crystal, staring at it for a long moment. Tell them, they were never forgotten. The bridge fell silent as the ship turned toward the endless stars. Far away, on the outer edges of known space, a new beacon was activated, a shining symbol of unity, transmitting one phrase across every channel in every language: truth through strength, strength through humanity. It became more than a message. It became a promise. Generations later, children across alien worlds would learn the story of the day the Council fell, of the humans who rose from silence, and of the captain who taught the stars to fear lies again. They would whisper his name as both warning and legend: Elias Ward, the man who turned Earth's silence into thunder. And when the stars shone brightest at night, even the oldest races would remember one truth carved into history: do not lie to Earth.